How about giving up some of those golf trips? Well, President Obama tying his plan to raise taxes to his faith, speaking with religious leaders at the National Prayer Breakfast. But to the words the president quoted, "For unto whom much is given, much shall be required," mean that he thinks what the wealth people accumulate is not the result of hard work and sacrifice, but instead simply given to them, like sort of winning a lottery ticket. We welcome our power players, Bernard Whitman, Tobin Smith, and Katie Pavlich. Katie, first you. What do you think about that? I mean, that's the main thing is, it wasn't given to me. I don't know about you, but I'm very grateful to it. It's mannas from heaven, but it was based on hard work, no?
Right, exactly. And Jesus also said that if you do not work, you will not eat, correct? First of all, a couple points on this. Republicans have repeatedly, over the years, been more generous with their wealth because of their accumulated wealth than Democrats. So if Barack Obama really wants to talk about who should be donating more money to charity and helping the poor, he needs to start with his own party. Second of all, whenever Republicans even mention faith, they get crucified, no pun intended. And Barack Obama is a perfect example of the Democrats over the years. For the past 50 years, the war on poverty has been a complete failure in having the government try to take from the wealthy and funnel it to the poor. It hasn't worked, and both you and I know that money with private charities works a lot better than with the government to actually help the poor.
Well, I think so. But the Bible, Bernard, talks about tithing. They talk about tithing with 10% of money. I'm spending 50% of everything I earn on the government, either the federal government or the local. 50%. That's a lot. That's 5 times tithing. So if we're going to go by the Bible, I'd get a tax cut.
Well, you know, we're not under biblical law, we're not under Sharia, but I have to say I applaud the president. It's about time Democrats and the president get comfortable using religion and talking in spiritual and religious terms. You know why? Because the Republicans do not have a monopoly on religion. They don't have a monopoly on spirituality. But the right wing constantly uses religious teachings in their dialogue, and I think that the fact that the president brings up Jesus, I mean, what would Jesus do?
Other than the obnoxious knee who just said that the Bible says my tax should be cut, I don't think, Toby, that I've ever heard a conservative say Jesus would be for cutting taxes.
Well, you haven't been in the South much, David. I've heard it, but I think there's another issue that's got me. In that same vein, he said that if Jesus saw insurance companies that were being prejudiced against people for existing health conditions. So it always blows me away. If you're an insurance company and you write an insurance policy, you have to take risk involved. What he's saying is that that an insurance company should not deal with risk. And this is the blatant idea. And he wraps it in a package that says Jesus would want you to take sick people into a health insurance program, and that's just not the way it works.
No, what he's saying is that Jesus teaches that those who are more fortunate should be taking care of those who are less fortunate. There is nothing wrong with that. And the fact is, you know what? Mitt Romney may not care about the very poor, but the safety net we have in this country, food stamps, etc., do not
have biblical scholars. Now we're having our group of scholars try to interpret what the president meant. But go ahead quickly, Katie.
No, the point is, the more money you have and the more successful you are, the more money you have to give away to actually help the poor. Giving your money to the government doesn't help the poor. They waste it on useless programs that, as I said, the war on poverty hasn't worked. Private charities help the poor, and the more money you have and the more successful you are as an individual, the more you have to give away.
That's got to be the last word. But I tell you about fairness. If there was fairness, I don't know if they'd have all those planes to ride on. That whole family's been riding a lot of planes. Thank you, gang.